We are live and direct on Inner Alchemy, the one and only show where we go within, and where we take all of the ideas and confusion or whatever is going on internally, and we bring peace, order, structure, and most importantly, power into that internal world. Okay? So I'm very excited about this episode. I'm going to try to keep the episodes shorter and more to the point so that you can get everything you need in a concise time frame. Okay? In today's episode, I'm going to just simply title it The True Voice. So, the true voice. What does that mean? And by the way, as I begin, I put the link on my Facebook, on my Instagram. Log into the link if you want to see the episodes with me on Zoom live, okay? Because that's where the real show is taking place. I'm only going to keep doing live streams for a little bit longer because I know people are new to this show, all right? So, the true voice. How do you know what the true voice is, right? In a society with so many voices, which one is yours? That is the big question, okay? Many will say, well, what do you mean? My voice is my voice. Like, I'm James, I'm Jenny, I'm John, I'm whoever, I'm Michael, I'm whatever, right? And I'm me, this is my voice. But I want you to think a little bit deeper than that. I want you to think a little bit deeper than whatever voice you have now is just your voice, okay? When you really think about it, your voice is actually, the voice that you think is you, is actually a collective of hundreds of voices, okay? You think the voice is yours, but that voice is really a collective of a bunch of voices. And where do we begin? That voice from when you were a baby that you take on ideas about, those voices are mom's voice, dad's voice, my brother's voice, my cousin's voice, the television's voices that come on there, the music that you listen to, right? All of these different voices we take, and pieces of those voices make up who we think is us and who we think our voice is, all right? It goes on and on and on. It can be the fearful cousin or the fearful uncle or auntie, or it could be the fearful TV or the music or all of these voices that you take on, right? And when you wonder why you're afraid, and when you wonder why you're hesitant, or when you wonder why you're doubtful, you think that's you. Well, that's just my voice. That's just me. Like, I'm just kind of nervous when I see bugs. I'm afraid of bugs when I see them. But are you really afraid of bugs, or is that a voice of someone else that was afraid of bugs that you took on? Because when you were young or when you were growing up, you saw they were afraid of bugs, and now I'm afraid of bugs, right? Or, yeah, man, I'm a Mac, or I'm an OG, or I'm this, or I'm that. Or was that the music you listened to that influenced you to say, oh, that's me? The lingo we take on. If you're from New York, you're going to sound a little bit more northern. You know what I mean, then? if you're from the DMV, like where I'm at, you might be like, yeah, Mo, yeah, I'm from Maryland. I'm speaking more of the lingo from the city, but you get what I'm saying. Or if you're from down south, you might be like, yeah, you know what I mean, cuz, even though my southern accent isn't the best, but you get the gist, right? We take on these voices, and then you'll be like, well, that's just me. So on one level, that's just linguistics, or that's just language, right? But on another level, there's frequencies that come with these voices. There's an energy behind these voices. So when you meet someone that sounds very timid, or like, oh, hi, I'm just shy. Are you shy? Or is that a voice or a character that you are identifying with as a shy character? And so because of that, you now have on the voice of a shy person. This is very real, because when you realize that, you begin to be a little bit more aware and bring a little bit more awareness to the voices and the language that you take on as your own, I think my auntie cussed up. Oh my gosh. Hi, auntie. I haven't seen my auntie in so long. But that's neither here nor there. So, all right. So, Fear. Fear has been passed down through these voices, through these characters. When you were young, don't touch that. Don't do that. Where are you going? You're like, okay, all right. And it seems like subtle. It's just like that's just how parents are. Or you know how black parents are. You know how blah blah blah. Everybody got their little. Oh, it's not a big deal. But the truth of the matter is, with that, is implanting fear, and it's a fearful voice. It's a fear of be aware. You see what I mean? These are things that we have to really think about. And what is happening is it's been transferred to you through all of these people, through all of these different voices. See, the truth is that you aren't scared. You aren't fearful. You aren't worried. I'm going to say that again. The truth is that you aren't scared. No, no, that isn't you. It's the voice that is scared. Let me say that again. The truth is, I want you to understand this, that it's not you that is afraid. It's not you that is worried. It's not you that is scared. It is the voice that is scared. Okay? Now, or in what I put next to voice is I wrote spirit. It's not the you that's scared. It's the voice. It's the spirit behind the voice that's scared. So when you think of when your auntie or your grandma said, don't touch that. Now you don't touch it. You're like, oh, I'm not going to touch that. I'll give you a prime example, man. God bless my grandma. I love her so much. I miss her. All love to grandma, to my ancestors, right? But she was always, she used to tell me, she used to say, don't eat from anything in a can or you'll get cancer. Like everything gave you cancer. Like, don't eat from that can. If you eat from a can, you get cancer. So I used to be like, I really believe that. Like, oh shit! Like, so I'd see like pineapples in a can. I might see some carnation milk in a can, whatever, and I'd be like, oh shit! I gotta stay away from that because that'll get you cancer, right? So that idea necessarily isn't true, and more importantly, that idea isn't my idea. The idea may have truth in it, but that's not my idea. I didn't create that idea. That was grandma's idea, and because I took that idea on. Now I have a fear when it comes to cancer and cans. And now that is something I'm taking on as my voice. So I want you to understand the difference because that's just one example of hundreds of voices that we take on through our life and advice that we take and things that we see. And don't do that. And you should try to do that. That compounds and then it becomes your identity. And then you buy into that idea. And now that's your idea. And then when you're afraid and you have this random fear, and you wonder why, it's because at 8 years old, you took on the voice of fear. Okay? And you gotta get my charger. I know you look very comfortable though, I'm sorry. But it's all good. So, no, it isn't you. It's the voice that is scared. That's why thinking and talking to yourself, thinking to me is essentially you're going through life and something presents itself and then you go to the voice to see how to deal with what's in front of you. See what I'm saying? So you're like, oh, let me think. So on one aspect, you may be thinking, but in another aspect, you're not really thinking. You're going back to the voices and trying to pick which voice matches the situation right now. So a lot of the time when people really think that they're thinking, they're not really thinking. They're actually, the right word is they are replaying, or what's the word I'm looking for? They are essentially reverberating, or basically taking what they've heard before and saying it again, putting it on top of life. That's what you're doing. You're not really thinking. The true act of natural thought is it flows. It is a flow. It's not like something that's already set in stone. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we're playing a sport. Let's say we're playing football. So you have one guy that played football as a running back. So he's the guy that runs with the ball and tries to dodge people. And he goes by what he was taught, right? So whenever someone's coming this way, you make a left. Whenever someone goes this way, you go back, right? So what happens is they make those moves, they do those things, and they're pretty good. Okay, I'm a good basketball player because I learned how to shoot. I was taught. But then there's another level. The other level is the person who goes with the flow, who can think on the move. So on one level, she said, "Are you high?" I'm actually not. So if I was, though, that'd be pretty awesome. I'd probably tell y'all, but I'm not. Very sober right now. So on one level, you have the person who was told what to do, so he can think. But what makes a true, really good football player or basketball player or athlete is their ability to move in real time. So let's say they were always taught to go to the left, right? When someone's coming this way. What happens if there's another person on the left? If they don't have the ability to think organically and flow with the thought of the moment, what's going to end up happening is they'll be stuck and then they don't know what to do. So thinking from past ideas, from past voices will only get you so far. You must begin to develop the ability, right, to know how to, okay, I know they always told me to go left, but what I feel right now is to go this way. So he fakes left, goes right, boom. Now he's going for a touchdown because that is a gift. Okay. So what I'm basically pointing to is that you can listen to voices and ideas that are in your mind, right? But the truth, my God, don't worry. But the true power is in one's ability, right, to flow with thought, to not just depend on the voices that were given to them. Okay. And this is very big when I'm touching on, because a lot of the programming and disappointment and things in life that we don't like are a product of us hanging on to old voices, old ideas that aren't sufficient in the present time right now. Okay. So that's why thinking and talking to yourself will only get you so far. You must begin to work with the true voice. And that's what I talked about in the beginning of this, the true voice. Okay. So what is the true voice? What is the true voice? Well, let me give you some characteristics of the true voice. The true voice, don't worry, you can write stuff down. The true voice has no voice. The true voice has no voice. That's very fire. The true voice has no voice. So you might wonder, well, okay, so then what is it? Well, what I'm helping you open your mind to see is that the true voice doesn't have a voice. Voice isn't where you'll get the true information from a voice, right? It's an essence, it's a feeling. Okay. And that, my friend, or as I'll call you, my family, right, is the heart. The heart is the true voice. Because from the heart, right, there is nobody else's voice. There is no other spirit. It just is. It is a feeling. It is voiceless. If you look at feelings, if you've ever felt anything, you'll notice that it's a very intelligent wisdom that you are given. But the thing is, it doesn't have a voice. It's the same code that animals operate from. It's the same code that nature operates from. It's the same code that the planets operate from. They work together, but they're not talking. They're not dealing with voices like how humans do, with all these arguments and disagreements. And he said this, and I said this, and we said this. It's just going nowhere because everyone's operating from a false self. So what you first must understand is the true voice has no voice, because the true voice operates, right, from the heart. And the heart has a much more sophisticated communication than the voice. And if we look at it as a baby, before you even have a concept of a voice, honestly, before you even develop your body, the heart is the first organ that is developed before the brain. The brain actually exists inside of the heart, and then it branches out. So what you have to understand is the heart is the first form of sophistication, and it's the ultimate form of sophistication that we have. Okay? The heart has that sophistication, and it's time that we begin to understand who to really listen to. Okay? Now, how do you decode the heart? That's a very vague idea. How do you decode feelings? That's a big one. I know it's hard. Most people run from that. I got it. You can take notes. I got it. A lot of people run from that. What is the true voice? Like, how do you decode the heart? How do you decode these emotions? How do you decode these feelings that can get so messy? That can get so unclear. That's why we do like to listen to the voice, because at least the voice has an order, has a structure, has some resonance. So I'm here to help you to begin to realize time to decode the voice, the true voice, time to decode the heart. How do you decode the heart? Well, yeah, how do you decode the heart to know what it's saying since it has no voice? Well, my friend, you must begin to understand its language. The heart and your feelings do have a very sophisticated language that you must begin to understand the same way you begin to understand how to speak Spanish, how to speak Russian, how to speak, Portuguese. I'm going to show y'all how to speak heart. And the language of the heart is feeling. Okay, the language of the heart is feeling. And not the feeling, and this is big what I'm about to say, so I want you to write this down, Tammy. I want you all to write this down. The language of the heart, right? Like I said, is feeling. And the feeling that comes, right? I want you to understand this. It's not just feeling. It's not the feeling that comes after the thought. That's not the language of the heart, right? That's the effect. So when you have a voice that comes in your head and then you feel negative, that feeling isn't the proper feeling. That feeling is just telling you a language that thought is incorrect, that thought is not survival, right? So people keep getting these negative feelings and they're like, well, how are you going to tell me to listen to my feelings when my feelings are scared and nervous and always going crazy? Well, guess what? Those aren't your feelings. Those are actually your intelligent feelings trying to tell you that your thoughts are not survival and negative. That's why they're not feeling good. If you felt good, that would be an indication that you actually are operating from the true voice, because the true voice has no feeling of negativity, because the true voice is indifferent. The true voice is neutral. So if you find yourself feeling negative about an idea, right, then you're doing it wrong. So as I said, to know what the true voice is saying, you must understand that it speaks through feeling, right? And in order to decode the feeling, you must begin to understand its language, okay? And the heart's language is feeling, right? But it's not the feeling that comes after the thoughts. It is actually the feeling that exists before the thought. So what I'm basically saying is, we have all of these programmed ideas and thoughts that give us negative or weird feelings. And the reason why is because we're operating from the thought first, and our feelings are in response to that. Okay? When we really should be operating from the feeling first, the feeling of power, the feeling of happiness, the feeling of confidence. And from that place is where you'll get the true voice, the true thoughts, the thoughts that are survival. Okay? You get what I'm saying? So everyone's doing it in reverse. Everyone is hearing a bunch of thoughts, and then they're feeling certain ways about the thoughts and the ideas that are coming to them. What you want to do instead is begin to connect with the true feeling of strength, the true feeling of neutrality, of faith. And then from that feeling, you will be able to generate the proper thoughts. So another way to say it, while everyone else's thoughts are giving them these negative feelings or happy feelings, right? I'm going to tell you to do the reverse. I'm going to tell you to hold the feeling of happiness first. And from that place of confidence, it doesn't have to be happiness, it could be confidence. You could say, all right, I feel truthful. I want to know the truth. You sit with the feeling. And from that feeling, you'll begin to hear the true voice begin to tell you the true thoughts and ideas. And why is that? Because if you want to hear truth, right, then you get in the feeling of truth. You say, okay, I feel truthful. I want the truth. And from that place, truth thoughts emanate. Versus, what's the truth? Well, the truth is, but now you're doing it all wrong. The minute you go into these thoughts and ideas, now you're just going in the wrong place. Because all you're going to get from going into thoughts and ideas are old ideas, old thoughts, old voices, which, like I said in the beginning, is not your true voice. It can't be your true voice because it is the voice that was other people's voices. It was the voice of auntie, grandma, who was scared as hell. It was the voice of your cousin who might have, or uncle who dealt with a bunch of financial issues. And he's like, yeah, brother, make sure you always do this. So you go back and when you're thinking, you're like, okay, maybe I should always do this. That's not you. That was your uncle. So who is your voice? Let go of the thoughts and emanate from the feeling, and the voices will come. So you must begin to understand the language, as I said, of the heart. And the language of the heart is feeling. And it's not the feeling that comes after the thoughts, right? The true language of feeling is the feeling first that exists before the thoughts. That's where truth resides. How do we prove it? If you really tap into how you really feel, you'll know that the person next to you is shiesty. You see, the problem why you don't know that person is shiesty is because you're dealing with thoughts. Oh yeah, well he's cool because he did this. So your feelings saying, I just don't feel right. But your thoughts are saying, but I know him since we was 2 years old. And then when you get burnt, you confused. It's because you're listening to the wrong intelligence. Okay. Whose idea was that, well, if he's your friend since 2 years old, that must be your boy? Look, I know that sounds good, but as a person that operates from an intelligent feeling, I'm going to tell you right now, they can be my friend from 2 to 30. And if at 30 years old, we're hanging out and I feel something weird, right? I'm dealing with him as we are right now from that place of my feeling right now. Because guess what? Your feeling isn't attached to old ideologies. Oh, you know it, sis. Your feeling isn't attached to old ideologies. Your feeling is actually attached to the core of survival. When you think of your ancestors, when you think of the sophistication of your DNA that has passed on through decades and through centuries and has lived to see it all, right? Even when the languages of the centuries changed, the one language that always stood true was the language of survival, which deals with feeling. So why would I negate this intelligent form of communication that has lasted for centuries in order to listen to some idea that someone told you in the English language? The English language is junior. Any language is junior to my feeling because my feeling is where the language came from. You see, the languages change, but the feeling stays the same through time. If it feels right, it feels right. If it feels wrong, it feels wrong. Okay? So I want you to understand that if you want to connect with the true voice, you must begin, okay? If you want to connect with the true voice, you must begin to understand that the true voice isn't old ideas. It doesn't come from thought, right? It comes from the heart. And if you want to understand the heart's language, the heart communicates through feeling. And if you want to decode feelings properly, you must not deal with the feelings that come after thoughts. You must first find the feeling that you want to have. And from that place, you'll get the true voice that comes. The truth comes from that feeling of truth. You must feel truthful in order to generate truthful thoughts. Okay? You can't feel confused and then think that truth will come from a confusing feeling. That's the problem. It's all of these people who feel incomplete, who don't feel whole, who feel moody, but they want to tell you truth from a place of moodiness. They can't give you truth from a place of moodiness, right? How can you give me truth from a place of fear? Because then all you're going to give me is the truth of fear. You're going to give me a fear communication, right? So right now, as I speak to you, for example, the reason why you can tell, what it do, brother? The reason why you can tell that what I'm telling you is truthful is because I am neutral. I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to lose in this conversation. It's just simply knowledge. Okay? I have no feeling of negativity, and I do have feelings of positivity. So if there is anything that's going to probably manipulate my truth, it's going to be positivity. So you're going to get positive truth. Okay, I'll take that. Okay. It's positivity in my truth. So, you're going to get the truth, but with a little bit of positivity in it. So, hey, right? But nonetheless, truth comes from a neutral place, from a neutral feeling. Okay. Now, as I explained, the feeling that exists before the thought, that's where truth resides, right? So, how do you feel, right, in a way that's absent of thought? And what I said, I said that is what we call the presence. The presence. Present. What is the presence? The present or the presence is when you shut down thought. Think of the state of meditation. When you let go of all the ideas and all it is just this moment right here. I'm going to do a quick exercise for 15 seconds. Let's just hear the presence. I want you to let go of your thoughts. We're going to do it for 20 seconds, right? As soon as I shut down, I'm not going to say nothing. Just listen to the fan. Just listen to everything around you with no thought. Any thought that comes in, don't even listen to it, all right? We're going to do it for 20 seconds. Ready? Okay. In that moment, while y'all were with me, I had no thought. I didn't know what I was going to say next. There was no script. I was just here. From that place, right, is the presence. And in that presence, you notice that fear doesn't exist, confusion doesn't exist, sadness doesn't exist because there is no thought to trigger those feelings. It just is what it is. You can be in the worst condition, you can be in any condition, right? Oh, I got to pay this, I got to do this, I got to hurry up and catch up to this. But in this moment of presence that we just did, nothing existed. It was just life. Now, I do that exercise just to show you that when you find yourself feeling all kind of weirdness and all these feelings, it's thoughts that are making you feel that way. It's not you. Because if we just tap into the presence, if we cut the thoughts out, the feeling is just sitting there. The feeling is just like, it's waiting. The feeling is waiting for a thought to come to direct it because it's like, I'm just sitting here. So instead of having your feelings respond to thoughts and programmed ideas and what already is, what I want you to do is I want you to first sit in the presence and I want you to choose the feeling that you want to have. How do you want to feel? Because once you decide how you want to feel, right, and you begin to resonate with that feeling, from that feeling, you will get thoughts and communications that are very powerful. Okay? So you almost tell the feeling, I want to feel this way, and then speak to me through that. Okay? Not what we do. We really do the opposite, which is, why am I doing that? And then your thoughts are just going, and now your feelings are just responding. You feel this way, or I feel this way, just jumping around. Okay? So that is what we call the presence. You must become one with the powerful presence. Now, I didn't just say one with the presence, because then you're going to be like a yogi, or you're going to be like one of these dudes that kind of sit there in the yoga stance and just be on a hill somewhere, just feeling nothing. And, that would be cool. But the problem is we live in America and we have a lot of people that we need to help, that need to hear powerful communication. So I don't really have the time to be sitting on the hill right now. That's not my work right now. Maybe when I'm 58, 60, and I've done all my work, then I can sit back and do that. But it's not the time out here in the West. We got knowledge that we need to teach. So that's why I'm here. And I'm assuming that if you're listening to me, there's somebody that's going to need you to give them some knowledge. So I want you to understand is it's not just the presence I'm talking about. It's the powerful presence that you must begin to emanate from in order to get the powerful voice that is truly your voice. It is the self that you program. The powerful present self. If you want to tap into the powerful present self, you must create that self. You don't wait because we're responding to all the other selves out there, all the other characters which are telling us how to feel and think and blah, blah, blah. Well, I want you to create a self that you can go to that's going to give you the proper information. That's what's happening. Whenever I get all this confusion, I've created the self who emanates from a place of power. So even when I feel down, I say, what do you think about the situation? And everything that flows from this frequency, from this feeling, is powerful knowledge. It's like, no, that's not that. It's this. And over time, I start being like, man, this voice is actually giving me the most powerful, realistic information. So then one person tells you, bro, there's no way you can do that. But the powerful self, you're like, okay, maybe there isn't. What do you think, powerful self? And the powerful self is like, you can do everything. Why can't you? You're aligned with everything. If the sun can be out there, how can you not do something simple on the earthly level, right? From this place, you start to tap into thoughts and ideas that you can't access in the collective world because the collective world is dealing from all of these false selves, all of these limited, smaller selves. Everyone out here is trying to sell you something. Everyone out here is trying to manipulate. Everyone out here is trying to get you to do what they want you to do, right? So how can you take their thoughts and ideas and think that it's going to have your individual best interest? It just doesn't make sense, right? So you must begin to tap into yourself and create a communication with the feeling within yourself of power, of truth, and begin to ask that space the questions. And from that space, they'll give you answers that aren't connected with other people's intentions, okay? With other people's agendas, all righty? You see, the powerful present self, it doesn't respond to words, right? It only resonates with powerful words. So it doesn't respond to scarcity. It doesn't respond to fear. It doesn't respond to out here. It only emanates. It only pushes out powerful positivity. So you might be like, but what about this? And the powerful voice is saying this. Well, what about my bills? It will be handled. But what about, and what you don't realize when you're saying, but what about, you're pulling someone else's idea and trying to challenge the powerful self with everyone else's ideas. I know you're saying this powerful idea, but XYZ said this, XYZ said that. So you start realizing anytime you have a voice of weakness, of fear, of confusion, of doubt, of madness, of anger, right? That's not you. That's not you. That's not your voice. So the more power you give that voice, the louder it gets in your mind. Some people give these negative voices so much power that voice begins to destroy them. That's how dangerous their voices are. Their voices, not your voice. That's how dangerous their voices are. Right? I want you to tap into your true voice because I'm going to tell you, your true voice isn't afraid of anything. And you know how I know your true voice isn't afraid of anything? Because look at a baby, look at a child. When you first was here, before you first dealt with pain, disappointment, before you touched the fire and said, ow, he wasn't afraid of nothing. Everything just was as it was. You notice you have adults that are programmed with so much indoctrination, racism, things like this, right? But that same racist family will produce a 5-month-old baby or a 1-year-old baby, and that baby will look at any color and walk up to it and like want to hug it or something. They haven't been indoctrinated yet, so they're not afraid of other races. Whereas the family, they're grown, they're 40, 50 years old with success, and they're the ones that are afraid. So you start realizing the baby, a lot of the time, has more sophistication than the adult because the baby hasn't been indoctrinated yet like the adult. Indoctrination. What is indoctrination? It means you're in documents, right? You're in written codes, you're in written ideas. So what that means is what one person wrote, you're in that ideology, right? Which means you don't have the freedom of experience. You've already given up your voice for the voices that wrote that documentation that you now take on as you. The true voice doesn't have a pre-subscribed documentation that it follows. The true voice isn't connected to pre-ideas. It's idealist. It's free. If you look at a baby or a child, it's moment to moment. That's how the true voice is. The true voice is moment to moment. The true voice is, I'm hungry. Okay, after you ate, I'm tired. I want to lay down. Okay. The true voice is, she's pretty. The true voice is simple. The true voice is, oh, that looks nice. You see, so when we start saying stuff like, if you do this, you're going here, you're going to hell, whatever the fuck. That's like, hold on, that's not the truth. That's like, where did that come from? Where did that come from? Then it's, oh, you got to do this. You got to go to school at this time. Whoa, where did that voice come from? And if you don't hurry up and do this, you're going to get fired. Whoa, huh? And oh man, you're not dressing. You're not fresh. Look at that. Your shoes are ugly. Hold on, my shoes are ugly? I thought I was just wearing shoes. Like, so your true voice is just, okay. But it's everyone else's voices that are, you're doing this wrong. Why are you doing that? You need to keep with this. So what I want to tell you is, can you make that internal voice so powerful that when those voices begin to talk, you respond like this? Oh my gosh, you'll get fired from this. No, you'll get fired from that. I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean, your job? You got to do, hold on, no, stop. That's not my voice. Like, take that and talk to your cousin or something. You're not talking to me with that scarcity, fear ass voice. Like, take that somewhere else. That's not my voice. Another example. Oh my gosh, like, bro, she's really hot. You shouldn't try to talk to her, right? Okay. I think she's cool. I'm going to say hi. That's it. It's not rocket science. Oh, you're scared, bro. I'm not scared. That's your voice. That's not my voice. My voice does not have scariness in it. And you become so one with your voice that when you do hear scaredness or fear or confusion, you then know that ain't your voice. You get kind of mad. You're like, hold on, bro, that's not me. Where did this even come? Where did this thought come from that had me thinking scary? And then you start reevaluating who was around me yesterday. Because I don't think like that. That's not me. Because I don't operate from fear or scarcity. So if a scarcity voice comes, that's not me. Because I chose my voice, and my voice is a powerful, present voice. So if I don't experience power when I'm communicating, or boldness or bravery, then I know that's not my voice. That's someone else's voice. Okay? The powerful present voice only resonates with powerful words. And you consciously must program it with more and more powerful words. So that's where the work happens. That's where when you research and you study and you listen to positivity and you listen to a show like Inner Alchemy, all I'm doing, right, is making you remember, which is rejoin. Remember, rejoin with the true self. And I'm telling you, the true self isn't confused. It isn't fearful. It isn't scarcity. That's not the true voice. So I'm here to give you more and more ammo so that you can feed that powerful, positive voice. Okay? Straight up. It acts from a place of cause rather than effect. That's what the powerful present voice does. It doesn't respond to life's troubles. It actually is from the cause point. Okay? It emanates just from where it is. It doesn't care about the outside troubles. It doesn't really matter when we talk about the present powerful self. Because the present powerful self, there can be a tornado, The world's about to end. My relationship is in shambles. But when I connect with the true voice is just like, all right, what are we about to do next? The true powerful voice is like, we'll be all right. Just go downstairs to the basement. You'll be good. You see, it's absent of the chaos. And you think you can get the charger for the computer? Gracias. It operates from that place. So I want you to understand it's not a voice that comes from effect. It's a voice that's purely cause. Because what it's doing is the feeling, because the heart is the cause point, the thoughts that come from the heart become pure survival and power. So even when everything outside is going crazy, the heart is causing positive, powerful messages. So you hear positive, powerful ideas. And guess what allows you to survive in the chaos? Powerful, positive ideas. Because the worst thing to be doing in a chaotic situation or in a negative situation is to be stacking more negativity and chaos within. There's already chaos out here. So how am I going to neutralize the external chaos? If I'm chaotic internally, right, I'm just going to become one with the chaos. So that means if the chaos is destroying the city, it's going to destroy me too, because internally I'm already destroyed, right? And I'm going to resonate with the external destruction. Or everyone's going crazy, right? My bad, for the computer. Everyone's going crazy, cousin. And internally, though, it's saying, no, you'll be fine. And you'll begin to hear, it gets so sophisticated. Let me tell you, you begin to get, the more you work with this voice, with this energy, it gives you much more sophistication. It's going to start off with basic stuff like, I'm hungry, whatever. As you begin to work with it, it gets more like, okay, you'll start feeling, go to this place down the street or go downstairs, go under here, and you'll begin to know where to go. While everyone else is watching the news, go there, we're all going in a blah, blah, blah. And guess what? It's like the sheep. The sheep begin to fall off the hill, and your inner voice is like, no, go the other way. And then you wonder why you live. You see, this language I'm telling you is the language that our ancestors had before there was news and technologies that we depended on to let us know how to survive. You got to wonder, how did my DNA survive from the beginning of time through all the calamities that happened? I'll tell you why. Because your ancestors didn't need all of this BS. Your ancestors operated from a place of a present, truthful voice that told them where to go. They operated from the heart, and the heart gave them sophistication because the heart is pure. And that's important that you keep a pure heart as well. You got to keep that heart chakra pure. If your heart chakra becomes diluted, if you close down your heart, if you shut down your heart, if you start denying the heart, then you're going to get the wrong answers. So a big part of keeping your heart in a good space isn't really just to be like this sacrificial lamb that loves everyone. That ain't how my heart is. Hell no. If you do me dirty, you ain't never talking to me again. And that came from the powerful, positive voice. Okay? I know it did. But what I tell you one thing though, the heart, I keep it safe. I keep it open for me because I need to keep an open communication with my heart from the crown down to the heart. I need the heart as the central place. It's the central place. I need to keep it open and pure so that I can get pure answers and ideas. Okay. So I'm going to keep this rolling. We're almost done. So it acts from a place of cause rather than effect. It doesn't say, who am I? It says, who do I want to be? Write that down. Big time. Write that down. The true voice, the true self. It doesn't say, who am I? It says, who do I want to be? Because once it knows who it wants to be, then the heart can align with that. If the heart is comfortable in the heart, that's what you got to do in the heart. The heart truly wants to be this. Not like I want to be a millionaire, but my heart, I want to be a millionaire because it looks cool. That's not the heart. It's what do I really want to be that makes me feel good? Once you know how you want to be based on how you truly want to be, right? What's going to happen is the heart will begin to give you the answers toward being that. And that is the true self. And you know why it's the true self? Because you chose that self. It's not the self that the world told you are. Because that self that self might be a freaking much smaller character. You might not like that self. They calling me a black guy or something, or they calling me the middle class. I ain't choose to say I was the middle class. They calling me the middle class. In my true voice, I'm a freak. I'm beyond class. I am the ultimate class. I am the diamond class from the present powerful self. I'm the diamond class. So why am I going to take their idea when they say I'm the middle class? No, you're the middle class. You know what I'm saying? You're the middle class because you chose that identity for you. I chose a different identity. So my true voice doesn't think I'm the middle class. I'm the diamond class. Do you get what I'm saying? So the true self, the true powerful present self, the true voice, it doesn't say, who am I? It says, who do I want to be? And once you truly decide who you want to be, it will give you that true voice. It will give you the answers that voice speaks from, the diamond class voice. See, the middle class already has a voice. We know how the middle class speaks. Like, do this, get a job, go to college. That's the middle class voice. We get that voice. The diamond class voice, whoa, that's a whole different voice. You feel me? That's a different voice. And you'll begin to see that voice is much different than all those other voices you were initially programmed with. Okay? So, my question to you is, this is my question to you. Who do you truly want to be? Not who can you reasonably be, not who can you kind of be, not who can you be practically, not who can you be that's socially acceptable, not who your family wants you to be, not who your friends want you to be, right? Who do you truly want to be? 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 Do you want to be afraid? Do you want to be scared? Do you want to be concerned? Do you want to be doubtful? Do you want to be powerless and scared? Oh my gosh, somebody's going to get me, right? Because that's all the voices out there. They can give you that. You want to feel powerless? Just watch TV. Just watch VH1. Just watch people who have millions of dollars while you don't. Just watch the NBA finals where people get millions of dollars to play the game that they love while you can't do that. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind. I love watching basketball. I love watching all this stuff. But I'm just saying, if you're watching this stuff all day, it's very easy to feel powerless. If you're watching the news every day, it's very easy to be concerned and scared and afraid. Those voices are all over the place. Feel free to connect. All you got to do is turn on the television. All you got to do is watch First 48 if you want to feel concerned. Or do you want to feel powerful? Do you want to feel brave? Do you want to feel strong? Right? Do you want to feel unstoppable? Well, if you want to tap into that, then this is what we're talking about. You must begin to consciously program those voices that resonate with truly being unstoppable, with truly being brave, truly being powerful, and truly being strong. You must begin to consciously program those voices that resonate truly with your heart. That truly resonate with your heart. Not that battle your heart, not that stifle your heart, but that truly resonate with your heart flowing freely and purely and free. Okay? So to close this out, as you begin to do that, you begin to feel unstoppable. Right? You begin to first feel unstoppable. That's where it begins. You must first begin to tap into feeling unstoppable, which will then make you unstoppable, which will then align you with your true self. I'm going to say that one more time. Okay? When you begin to consciously program those voices that resonate truly with your heart, that resonate truly with who you want to be, who you know you want to be, right? You'll first begin to feel unstoppable. You'll first begin to feel brave. You'll first begin to feel strong in those moments and feel powerful. And the more you feed it and continue to tap into that feeling, you're going to begin to be powerful, be unstoppable, be brave, and be strong. And then you will then align with your true self by being more and more and more. Next thing you know, you'll find yourself on a one-way ticket to your true self. Because as I explained, the true self isn't any of those lower emotions. That's the lower self. The true self or the higher self is absent of all of those negative emotions. Okay? So, the present, powerful, true self is something that only your heart can understand and resonate with. And what you want to do is you want to tap into that feeling, okay, and begin to ask that place from the heart, that feeling, and connect and say, who do I truly want to be? Once you know who you truly want to be, you only align with ideas that support that person. And as you align more with it, I want you to feed it with more and more ammo. I want you to watch shows like The Inner Alchemy. I want you to go on YouTube and watch powerful information. I want you to find somebody in your family or that one friend who always makes you feel good, right? Be around that resonance more because that's going to help build that energy. And most importantly, tap into it yourself because you must know this voice more than anyone else. There's three worlds. I explained this on one of the shows. You have your world, right? You have their world, the person who you're talking to, or the person in the environment. And then you have the world that we all live in. That's the third point. So it's me, it's the environment, right? And then it's other people's worlds. And we share this third point together. But what I learned from a powerful teacher was out of all of those three worlds, which is your world, my world, and the world we both live in, the most powerful one that you must know first and you must know the most and have the strongest connection and knowledge and understanding in is your world. Because if you do not build a powerful internal world, you will be subject to manipulation in those worlds. That person's world and the world we both live in will overpower your world. So if you want to be able to hold your frame, stand in your power, and begin to make their world bend to your world, you must begin to truly know your world. And ideally, you don't want them to bend to your world. You more so want your positive, powerful presence to stand firm and attract more. And their world will then want to attract to your powerful world so that you two can build a powerful world together, which will then, guess what? Create a more powerful, better world that we all live in. This is how we improve the world. The third point, the world we share. If we're going to improve it, it begins with you and me beginning to truly become one with our true voice. And by doing that and connecting with people like you and me and all of us connecting, we then change this world. But we're not going to try to do what most people do, which is, I'm going to protest. I'm going to try to fight out here to make them do what I want to do. No, you're doing it backwards. You shifting here. You then connect to the one person or people around you that know how you are, and you build that world up first until they start to say, what's going on with y'all? How come we're miserable and you're just becoming more powerful and happy? And then they're going to want to know what's going on, and that's how they begin to figure out what's going on. If you try to fight them, it's just dualistic. You just spending energy and you're actually building more of that weakness in yourself because you're going to see like, man, I can't change nothing out here. So you begin to feel weaker internally. Don't worry about that. Focus on what you can change because that's where the power resides. And the more you see yourself change, you start realizing that you actually do have more power than you think. Because if you can change yourself, you can change anybody. But there's a bunch of people out here trying to change everybody, but they can't even change themselves. They want to change everybody, but then when you tell them an idea, they're like, no, that's not true. You know, you could try to do this. No, I don't got to do that. It's like, I can't even change your mind, but you trying to change my mind. It's backwards. Their minds are stuck. They're crystallized minds. They're stiff. Yet they want to tell everyone else what to do. Mm-mm. That's all bad. So, with all of that being said, I hope you learned a lot on this. Thank you for tuning into the Inner Alchemy. In closing off, is there any questions? Any questions that anybody has as we begin to shut down? And just so you know, this episode will be live tomorrow on my YouTube, God Johnny Speaks. I'll post it on my Facebooks and my Instagrams. Follow me on Instagram at God, G-O-D _ J-A-N-I. Instagram, follow my Facebook at a Johnny Irish, A-J-A-N-I, last name I-R-I-S-H. You could also follow my Facebook page. It's God Johnny, G-O-D-J-A-N-I. Any questions as we shut down about the powerful, positive self, about the true voice? Any questions? Alrighty. Thank you, family. Have a blessed Sunday. All right. And remember, tap into the true voice, and your reality will be heavenly. This I know, this I've experienced, this I've seen, this I promise. Peace.